Well, now, let me show you something here that is quite interesting. You'll be shocked to realize this, okay? See, have you ever known that women tend to save their money more, men risk their money most? And guess what? Those two, they have different consequences. And today we're going to check exactly what is the psychology of money when it comes to women, how do they approach it, and the psychology of men when it comes to money, and how exactly do they approach it. And what is the best psychology? Should we go the men's way or should we go the ladies' way? Which one is the best out there? And by the way, I know you can relate to this. Let's get into the business. And by the way, before I do that, come on, just be a bit generalized, Go ahead and hit that like button and also make sure that you subscribe to this channel. By the way, doing those two things does not cost you anything, just a single second. Hit those two buttons and make sure that, by the way, you subscribe to this channel. Let's get into the business now. See here, we have the women and we have the men. See, these different individuals approach money differently. Okay, for those who understand what I'm talking about, I've ever realized that women tend to be in these areas what we call the merry-go-round kind of a things. Merry-go-round. Okay, for those who do not know what is a merry-go-round kind of a thing, it's table banking. It's when different kind of women come together. They say, hey, guess what, guys, ladies, we don't have much of the money, but you bring your small money, and my money, and we money, put it on the table. Then we'll be like, okay, fine. See, we have all this money on the table. Okay, fine. You, Cecilia, grab this money, go do the things. And by the way, once you pay back, make sure that you pay with this interest. Or we can decide, hey, we have an X amount of money. We can subdivide this amount of money. Let's say it's 100K. Say maybe these guys, they meet each and every month. Then they have 100,000 at any given instance when they meet. So you can say, hey, guess what? Each and every month when we meet, we are 10 of us. We're going to be giving 2 people. We divide this 100K. You give you 50, you go do the things, pay back the money, and actually, hey, come on, do something on top of that, give us an interest. So you find women tend to come together, save their money, because naturally they were born or they are created to go ahead and nurture, bring forth, and make sure they safeguard. They play the safety kind of a thing. They actually put the safety pin way early before doing the thing. And that's why I try to make some videos why I hate the merry-go-round kind of an investment, or kind of a bring to, actually it's not even an investment. I actually tell them, hey, guess what, ladies? Fine, you guys, you're amazing. I love that psychology of yours, you coming together and doing that. But do you know there is a great thing that you can actually achieve compared to what you have right now when it comes to money? How about you take this cash, go open an account, you can actually get a loan, think about acquisition of properties, you can get with the bills with both businesses and what have you, and can grow yourself to the next level. They're like, no, we are comfortable with this, because they are more social more than they are financial perspective. That's what they do. And for those who understand what I talk about, they go ahead and they bust the bubble, they move to the next level. So you find the psychology of ladies when it comes, they tend to save more. See, for a lady, if you tell them, for example, hey, let's be saving $1 a day. For a lady, you can resonate with them. They talk about the, excuse me, they talk about the savings, sorry about that. They talk about the savings with a lady. They actually resonate with that language. Oh my goodness. I remember there was a time I made a video on how you can save a shilling each and every day. $1 a day, $1 a day. It was so quite interesting. I will tell you, most of the people who approached me, they were ladies. They love that saving method because they appreciate that minute and smaller things, no matter how it is. Now do this. Now, take that understanding, bring it to men. Men are people you tell them, hey, let's be saving $1 a day. That's a very small amount of money. I don't care about that. Guess what? Okay, fine, I have 100 G's they can. Men tend to risk more than the ladies do. Now, you find that when men comes together, you tell them, okay, fine, instead of having this money on top of this and just sharing it out or distributing at the end of the month, how about we register this a company of ours or register this group? And we start to gain more than we can actually imagine. And you resonate with them. They actually buy that idea and they go ahead and do the thing. And by the way, let me ask a very simple question. If you go to a betting company and go ask the statistics, who bets more? Who does do the lottery tickets and what have you? Between the men and women, who does the lottery most? You find men are the one who do the lottery. They are the one who risk a lot. If you go who bet about the football matches and all those kind of things, the casino thing, you find men. Men tend to risk more than the women. Now, let's go ahead and ask ourselves, okay, what are the consequences, okay? Now, what are the consequences of each? What are the consequences? Because remember one thing, in any action taken, there is always a what? A reaction taken. So now, for those who save a lot, guess what happens? In a short term, they actually have what? They are liquid. You find ladies tend to be more liquid at a short term. So you ask them, hey, guess what? There is a school fee that is needed. We need like 10K. I got it. they go in your pocket, they get a thing, they are liquid at that particular point. When they want to solve, actually I'm talking about the advantage. These are not consequences. These are actually advantages, okay? Now, you find these people, they are liquid at any given time, okay? You find that a short-term challenge when it shows up, they are able to cater for that specific thing. You ask them, hey, we need money for this. It's always available and ready. We want to do this. They actually have the money. But now, when it comes to the disadvantages or the consequences, in a long term, they are not secured. In long term, they are unsecured, okay? What do I mean? They are unsecured in the sense that that money they're actually contributing in that merry-go-round kind of a thing, it is actually not cushioned under the inflation. It is actually eaten away by the inflation. Or what they do not understand, hey, this money that you are having, the real sense is this money of ours is not subjected to any interest. It's not subjected to any earnings. Therefore, the inflation, be it either 5, 4, 10, 6, whatever the percentage it is, our money is being eaten away by the inflation rather. Now you find on the consequences part of them, they are actually not cushioned when it comes to the long term. If something happens to them, they can actually be hit hard. Let's say there is a crazy something like a recession or maybe an economic crisis that we had now 2008, they actually get hit bad. That's a particular point. Now we go to the advantages of risking. So you find these kind of guys on the other end. First of all, the disadvantage of these people is that whenever short-term advantage of risking is obviously they tend to gain more. Chances of them gaining are actually high. Chances of actually gaining are high. Why? Because when you try something, I gave you this thing, you can actually check it out. I said this, see, there is person A and there is person B. Say both of them, they have 10K. And this person A does not love to risk. He say, hey, guess what? I'm not going to invest. So you have that money in your account. So then this person A already knows the outcome. Nothing will come, okay? Or let's say nothing will show up actually. You already know the outcome of you not doing an action. Nothing will come. But if this person invests, there are two chances. A, it's either fails, that's what they do, or B, it actually goes what? Works. That's how it goes about. So whenever you take an action to invest your money, there is always two outcomes. You either fail or you actually win. And when we fail, we hate to frame it as failing. You learn. This person does not have the chance of learning. Why? They have never tried anything for them to learn, to know what works and what doesn't work. I'm pretty sure even whoever invested this pen, I'm pretty sure he never started it for the first time. He did not just sit down, put all these things, and perfect, everything is working. Now we have a pen in town. No. You tried, you failed, you realize, this doesn't work. Even whoever invented this brush, as much as simple it is, there was not a single trial. There were several trials, and they tell you, the other trials, they actually put in a manual what you're not supposed to do. Actually helps you to come up with a manual. Let's go back to our topic. So when you risk, there are more chances of you winning compared to someone who is not risking. Because when you don't risk, guess what? You already have one outcome. Nothing will happen. All right? These men actually, the other thing that you're supposed to understand is that the consequences of these people is that they are never liquid short term. They are not liquid. They are not liquid. You know, have you ever met a guy who telling you, hey, guess what? Well, I have some cash, but I'm looking forward into some few times, because for now I do not have the money, but give me like a month or two. I'm waiting for something to show up and actually work. That way I'll be able to be liquid and be blah, 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 blah. You get what I'm saying? So they do not tend to be liquid. So they tend to be hit hard by what we call a short-term challenge, a short-term need of cash. If there is a cash that is needed like instantly at this particular moment, you find these guys, they actually suffer a lot because, hey, they do not have the money to do exactly that. You get what I'm saying? So that is exactly what happens when it comes to them doing this specific thing. So another thing is that you find these guys in a long-term way, they tend to win compared to the ladies, because on the men, when it comes to long-term, yeah, for them, they do not solve the today's problem. But if you count like 1 year, 2, 3, or 5 years, they already know things tend to go out there. For example, if you come with an investment, a very new investment, okay? By the way, I'm not intending to talk about these topics. I'm just saying it. For example, you bring something like a cryptocurrency. Men tend to buy the idea more than the ladies tend. The ladies tend to go into the things that they are quite more familiar with, and they tend to go into an areas whereby their cash is actually, what we call it, sort of preserved and what have you. Now, the ultimate question is this. Which is the best option between you going the women's way in terms of perception of the money or going the men's way perception of the money? Guess what? Amazing. all of them are quite good and amazing. Both of them, see, remember one thing, we are here on earth as different genders to make sure that we complement each other. That is the greatest thing that we do have in our lives. So what we do, it is good, as much as we want to invest for the long term, it's good to make sure that at least we are liquid for the purposes of anyway, just a thing that shows up that is a short-term challenge, we can be able to cater for that. And I'm using that example to refer to a client who called me sometimes back. I bet I've ever shared this information with you. The guy is earning around 45,000. You know, he acquired a property somewhere that is for 1.1 million, and he was required to pay around, it was 22,000 at the end of the month. So the guy was remaining with 23,000. And you can just imagine this. The guy sacrificed the cash flow, that is for the long term, the acquisition of the property, and actually denied himself the short term. What short term? Paying the rent, paying the school fees, eating, and all other, recurrent expenditures that you have to go through as a human being. So in the name of acquisition of that property ahead there. Yeah, I know after the 4th year of paying that loan, the guy gonna have the property. He may even think to liquidate that property. For now, he may be struggling, that's for sure. And obviously that is accompanied with some consequences. But in long term, let's say after 4 years, probably you didn't, ladies who didn't take any action, the guy has a property, can liquidate the property. He has maybe, let's say property will be at 2 million, probably, I don't know. And then that means the guy will have 2 million, can decide to resell that property, to acquire a different property, maybe at 1 million, then use another 1 million to acquire hope or something. You get what I'm saying? So it is good to look at the future. It's good to make sure that you go the long-term way of investment. And at the same time, it's good to consider the short-term, because as much as you want to acquire an asset, paying school fees is also part of you. Can you imagine this? If you had a husband in a house, they're telling you, hey, guess what? I cannot be able to pay the school fees. Now you're explaining this to kids, yeah? Because your dad bought a land somewhere. It doesn't make any sense. Land, you need to buy the land, you need to eat, you need to pay the school fees, you need the entertainment money, you need all those things at the same time. On the other hand, honestly speaking, you cannot really fully be sort of blinded beyond solving the today's problem, the short term, the feels, the eating, the entertainment, the social aspect, and what have you, without actually, sort of looking at it from a point of, hey, guess what? If I was to put this money in this kind of a thing, therefore I stand to gain 1, 2, 3. That way, that's when we say you're actually ruled by the financial literacy. So the point is this: it is good to make sure that you understand your psychology, depends on who you are, and again, at that particular point, that will actually help you to make a decision that will be more appropriate in anything that you make as far as the money is concerned. Be very careful. By the way, I'll never cease to tell you one thing, and I dedicated a whole video about this. Money is very, 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 very spiritual, and if you do not understand its energy flow, what it does, you ain't gonna get that thing. It's good to understand it's an energy. And remember one principle when we're in high school: energy cannot be created nor destroyed, but can be transformed from one form to the other. So understand, how do you transform this energy from one form to the other on the purposes of you gaining out of that specific thing. And I'm going to leave you with this. Remember one thing: money is actually, or rather wealth is actually exchanged on hands each and every time. So how much gets in your end? I repeat, wealth is actually exchanged on hands. So how much does it get to your end? Make sure that you understand all the nitty-gritties. Make sure that you understand all that, how those cards are played, so that you can move to the next level. Anyway, that's the end of my video, but don't forget to hit the like. Make sure that you share this video if you're in a position to. Make sure that you leave a comment out there if you did benefit out of this video. And by the way, don't forget to as well, if you need to have a conversation with me, my number is always on the description of this specific video. Go grab that number, shoot me a call or a text, or email as well, because my email is out there. Go ahead and shoot me an email and we can have a discussion. For now, it's a goodbye, and see you in the next one.